Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jorvik, and surprise surprise, Marvel dropped the teaser trailer for Thunderbolts, question mark. I actually have a lot of questions about this because I figured that they would save the Thunderbolts trailer for at least December, if not until Captain America 4 came out. I'm also assuming that a lot of this this trailer is going to be footage that was shown at Comic-Con and D23. There was a leaked version of this trailer that came out shortly after D23, but I didn't see it. I just read descriptions of what this trailer holds. So I am assuming that a lot of this trailer will be footage from that original trailer, and maybe sprinklings of some new footage, but again, I didn't see the original, so I don't know. I'm just gonna have to, look at some of the reviews later on today to see what was new in this trailer, if any at all. Another surprising thing about this trailer, before we get into it, is that this is labeled as a teaser trailer, and it's 3.5 minutes long. Like, that's insane. Teaser trailers shouldn't be that long. That's kind of crazy to me. I have a theory on why this is, but I want to watch this trailer first before I dive into that theory, so stick around until the end of the video on why Marvel is doing their trailers this way. As always, if you like this type of content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what you thought about the trailer and if you are excited to see it. I'm actually pretty pumped to see this, so let's go ahead and get into it.
I click leave on porch. Your subordinates will be reported to DoorDash HQ.
Alexi, it's me.
DoorDash HQ. So this is like a scene? Oh, okay. It's so good to see David Harbour back. I thought he was one of the big highlights of Black Widow.
Highly classified. Lot of work. Many irons in fire.
You feel fulfilled?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so full. So filled. But why do you ask this? What brings you here?
Ooh. I like the yellow, the black and yellow color scheme. I know why, but I love this song.
I'm just
There's Bucky.
And I don't have
John
purpose.
Walker with his...
I thought throwing myself into work was the answer.
Oh, jeez. That's right, because she's working for Valentina. Oh, interesting. Okay, so that's the vault from the set photo that she posted on her Instagram. So this is definitely the first thing they shot. There's John Walker. Oh. There's Taskmaster. And then Ghost. Ooh. It's pretty cool choreography.
Oh no.
Oh.
Who are you?
I'm Bob.
Yeah, Sentry.
Nobody. You were all sent?
Ooh.
Everyone here has done bad things.
Yeah, so far this is what I read the D23 footage was.
Yeah, so?
So, someone wants us gone. What the hell?
Oh, that was Loki's scepter.
That there are good guys and there are bad guys.
What's the plan?
This could get messy.
Very Terminator-esque. Love it.
But eventually, you come to realize that there are bad guys.
Oh.
And there are worse guys. And nothing else. Look at you. So adorable.
It's a sick shot, actually, of all of them. There's the asterisks.
Don't worry, she's bulletproof. What is bulletproof? It's bulletproof-ish.
Oh, that's Bucky, right? Yeah.
Is that Bucky?
Oh,
That's not
that's the
yours.
gun he had in Winter Soldier. Sick. Okay, so let's talk about it. Okay, so I have a theory, and this is what I was talking about in the first part of the video. Marvel seems to be going. They did this a little bit with Deadpool, not as much as this though, and they did it a little bit with the Captain America trailer. But they were including like almost entire scenes, like elongated scenes in these trailers. And so I don't know if it's maybe I don't know if they've wrapped principal photography on this film, but it seems like everything that they have already shot is already obviously in this trailer. Not a lot of visual effects heavy stuff besides some of the fighting scenes with Ghost. I think that looks really great. We'll get to it in a minute. But we didn't see the Sentry in action. By the way, Bob is the Sentry. He's basically like a Superman clone, if you want to call him that. So it is very interesting that he is in this. I'm not very familiar with his backstory, so I don't know exactly where he gets his powers from, or like if he's like a mutant or inhuman or anything like that. But I'm very curious to see how long he's actually been around, because if you have a Superman level character, I mean, you have Captain Marvel, you have, well, you had Vision, kind of. Well, no, Vision is back now, but you have, these high level characters. So like, these are super soldiers. How are they supposed to fight him? And we don't even know if he's actually the villain or the main antagonist. He might be in the middle part, and then he'll probably join the Thunderbolts towards the end. At least that's what I'm thinking. But back to what I was saying about the trailer, I think Marvel, I think this is a good move for trailers. Showing scenes, I think, is more, I think it works better as a trailer. I mean, look at like Netflix, right? When you go to a film or TV show on Netflix, they show you a scene from the show. And I think Marvel is starting to do that as well in their trailers. Of course, I've only really noticed it with, their newer trailers, Deadpool, Captain America, Brave New World, and now this one. I don't remember if Agatha had like a scene in it. I'm sure it did as well. But yeah, so we got our first look at Florence Pugh as Yelena, returning from not just from Black Widow, but also from Hawkeye. And it seems like she's still working for Valentina, who we know is the director of the CIA and former wife to Everett Ross. We learned that in Wakanda Forever. We also see it at the end of this trailer, but she is the one who bought the Avengers Tower. So obviously the running theory is that because they're named Thunderbolts Asterix, by the end of the film they'll probably be renamed the Dark Avengers, which in the comics the Dark Avengers were, I believe it was after Secret Invasion, which technically would fall in line with this timeline. A lot of the public lost faith in superheroes, so Norman Osborn as Iron Patriot, which we've already seen in the MCU in Iron Man 3, forms this new team of Avengers, but they're secretly villains in disguise as the Avengers, and they become the Dark Avengers. So let's go ahead and go through the lineup here. So of course, we have Yelena, like I said. She is technically the new Black Widow. We also get our first look at Bucky, who I am surprised that he's in this, but I think this movie is going to heavily tie into Captain America 4. I'm pretty sure he'll have a cameo in that. But he has a pin. I can't see what this pin is on his collar here, so he could be like a state official or a member of the president's cabinet. We don't know. And of course, we get John Walker here. He is reading, this is basically his arc in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we're going to be kind of picking up, from there, where he's kind of a defaced hero because he did kill someone. You don't want to have America's hero killing people. Although Steve also killed a lot of people, and you know what? So did Sam. So you know what? I guess it doesn't matter. But I think the difference is that they did it on a public stage. Like it was seen. In either way, we're gonna see him kind of in this depression, and we kind of do. If you kind of go forward a little bit here, you see that he is like in this dark, kind of repressed, look he's got going on here. So again, we're at this set that Yelena, that Florence Pugh posted on her Instagram story months ago. I think that was back in like June or May, and it was the start of principal photography for Thunderbolts. And this is the first thing that they shot, clearly. So it's nice to kind of see. This is like a government facility, obviously, and it's also more like a vault. So I'm very curious on where this is. Later on we did see that they were all driving in the desert, so maybe this is like in Nevada, or maybe Arizona, maybe Eastern California, somewhere around there. It's very possible that this could be the remains of Project Pegasus. That was the Shield. We visited that in not Avengers, but also the first Captain Marvel film. So this could be, repurposed Pegasus base, Shield base, because Shield is also not really around anymore. Here is a first look at the new version of Taskmaster. Now, Taskmaster, if you don't know, she is from the Black Widow film. Obviously, in the comics, Taskmaster is a male character, and I forget what his real name is, but he was a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent turned mercenary, and he has the powers to basically like copy anyone's fighting style, any of their moves. So he's very formidable against the Avengers. He was a big villain in the Avengers game that came out a few years ago, and he's also been featured prominently in a lot of the TV shows as well. So when when they adapted this character in the MCU, a lot of people were very upset with it. I personally didn't mind because I'm not a huge like Taskmaster stan. I can admit that he's cool, but it didn't really bother me that much. I do like fresh takes on characters. I think that's a very normal feeling. Of course, as long as it makes sense, no reason to really gender bend or, racially bend characters if it's unneeded. Again, but that's a whole different conversation. But we do see that she has her bow. We don't really get, because the scene's so dark, we don't really get a full look at her costume. We might get a better look later on when they have the group shot in the Avengers Tower. But I have to say, I actually kind of dig this mask, because they do go to what Taskmaster's mask looks like in the comics, which is more of a skull. It's had different designs, but more or less it's a skull mask, and I kind of like this design. I mean, obviously, seeing it more in action, I think would would benefit this costume, and really any of these costumes for sure. But I do like that design. And here is our first look at Ghost. Now, Ghost was, I mentioned this in my phase 2 or phase 3. It was phase 3. My phase 3 video was the first episode of my fandom friendly show. That I do like Ava Starr as Ghost. Now, originally Ghost was an Iron Man villain, and then they made her a villain for Ant-Man. But you can obviously see she's also had this updated, more tech style, this suit. And again, it's too dark to see, so like we can only see their helmet. But I also really dig this helmet. It reminds me of the EVA helmet from Halo, and it also reminds me a little bit of like a fencing helmet. But I think it fits Ghost's like whole deal, because in a way she is faceless, and she has her quantum powers, her intangibility, which we do see showcased right here. You see how she jumps through, like that's pretty good fight scene, and how she catches the knife. That's pretty sick. Like I do like that. And of course we get Bob Sentry. I forget this guy's name. I don't know why I'm so bad with names. But again, I mentioned earlier he's playing Sentry, and we do see that later on when he escapes. He has bullet holes in his chest, but there's like no blood, no holes, so it's like he is invincible, impervious to bullets. He can also fly. Again, he's a Superman clone. But it is just really cool to see. Like, again, I wonder how long he's really been in the universe and exactly what his origin is. If he's an alien, or if he's, like I mentioned earlier, a mutant or an Inhuman. I don't know his story or his character all that well from the comics. But I am curious to see how they adapt him. Here is another look at John Walker's costume. Now, he got this costume at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it was very like dark and muted, which it does look like here, but it also looks very dirty, and it looks very worn, because I think at this point in time, he's probably been U.S. agent for a couple years at least. If we remember, Falcon and the Winter Soldier takes place 6 months after Endgame, so that puts it in like the mid-spring of 2024, and presumably this takes place in 2026. U.S. agent for a couple years, so his suit is pretty worn, because he obviously has the beard grown out. But again, this is a very dark scene. I don't know if it's just my monitor. It could be the lights too that I have on, but like it is a very dark scene, so it is really hard to see the details in this costume. This is interesting. So this looks like this is in, because we see the signs back here. It says the Battle of New York. And right here we have Loki's scepter, which is also very interesting because I think the last time we saw that was in Avengers Age of Ultron, when Ultron used it to put the stone, or he broke it up and put the Mind Stone into Vision's body, right? But that was in South Korea. That was in Seoul. So presumably, obviously, this is in New York. I'm assuming this is in maybe Grand Central Station, or at least the base of the Avengers Tower, which we do know is above Grand Central Station. So I'm curious on how Val got this scepter, and it's used as like a museum piece. There are other glass pieces here because this looks to be like a museum to the Battle of New York. Can't really see what on the side of these, but you can see that this is like maybe like a gala for like a museum opening. So very, very interesting. I'm really curious to see what this whole scene is. Here's the shot I was mentioning. You see how he's burned. It looks like he's been shot multiple times, but clearly, he has either a healing factor or he's just impervious to bullets. But again, still really curious on his character and exactly, his whole story. We get Bucky here, so I'm assuming Bucky is sent in to apprehend, Elena and all of them, because they essentially broke out Sentry. And I just love this shot here because it's very reminiscent of Terminator 2, because that's how Bucky was portrayed in The Winter Soldier. Voiceless, faceless robot of a man, chasing down Cap and Nat and all them. This is interesting. I don't know where this is at, but this looks like a whole maybe like battle scene there. But here is the Sentry's plate. I'll put a photo up of what Sentry looks like. He has a big S on like his belt or like his lower abdomen. But that's pretty interesting to see that they actually have it. I do remember reading about this in the description of the original trailer from D23, so pretty cool to see it in here. I wonder whose hand that is. I don't know if that's his or if it's somebody else. I don't think we get an answer to that in this trailer. Another great shot here. Interesting to note that Taskmaster is not in this elevator shot unless she is behind Red Guardian here, which I'm curious on how he folds into this because he wasn't at the bunker when they originally rescued Bob, so I'm curious. And also Bucky is now with them, so something must have happened with either Valentina or with another government agency, coming after them where they have to join forces together. Again, they have to assemble, so they are all gonna fight a common enemy, and I'm sure it's probably government related. Another great shot here. So this is obviously this is Avengers Tower. Clearly this is actually the same area where the Avengers had their party in Age of Ultron at the beginning of the film. It's just been cleared out because this is the bar where Nat was making drinks, with Bruce and Steve. And but it's just definitely cleaned out. So so this is probably their new like base of operations, which is kind of cool. I don't know what this is. This looks like a big rock here. Oh wait, no, that's a person. Oh, that's it's just dark on my screen. That's actually right here is Red Guardian, but he is looking at like some like rock here, so I'm curious to see what that is. All right, and here is the money shot of the trailer, at least in my opinion. So we do get better shots of their costume. So obviously Red Guardian's costume is updated from Black Widow, because again that took place in 2016 is when we first met him chronologically. So he's been Red Guardian again for presumably a decade. We also don't know if he was blipped. We actually don't know if any of these characters were blipped. The only ones we know for sure, I believe, are Bucky, obviously, and Yelena, because we saw that in Hawkeye. I don't think John Walker was blipped. I think they made that clear during Falcon and the Winter Soldier that he was alive or, existing during that time. But we don't know about Ava or Taskmaster. So we don't know if they were blipped or not. I'd be curious to see if they even mention that in this movie. But we do get a better look at their costumes. Again, the Taskmaster costume is very toned down from what it is in the comics because it is silly. It is very silly in the comics. So I like that it's more tactical and it looks more realistic, at least, more grounded. Same thing with Ava. Instead of being in the all white, she is in the all black. And she kind of looks like a character from Assassin's Creed. I kind of dig it, actually. And of course, Yelena is in, just a basic, Black Widow jumpsuit with some body armor, some stingers, and batons. Bucky in his typical costume. And then we get a better look at the costume for John Walker, the U.S. agent. Again, it's more blacked out with the red and white, but again, it looks super dirty and worn out. So, and of course, we get her full name is it Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. So obviously, she's reprising her role in this movie. So again, curious to see how she fits in and why she's pulling together the Thunderbolts / Dark Avengers. I think it'd be very interesting to know. Of course, the end tag here is what I mentioned before. It looks like they are in Nevada, maybe Utah, Arizona, Eastern, California. Well, most of Eastern California is all mountains, but this presumably is where they were keeping Sentry, probably Area 51. That's in Nevada, so that would be kind of interesting if they just threw in Area 51 in this movie. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this, cause I mentioned it in the initial watch through, but this is how Bucky was introduced as the Winter Soldier in the Winter Soldier, when he shot the same device at Nick Fury, who was driving down the road in that really great, chase between the Hydra agents and him through the streets of DC. So it is cool that that's a cool callback, I guess, to that movie. And that's pretty much it. I mean, again, a very long trailer, 3.5 minutes, but there was, elongated scenes. I'm assuming a lot of people have already saw them and it leaked, so they're probably like, let's just throw it in here anyway. Don't know if this is new footage. It probably is. Again, I'm sure someone else will break it down deeper and really dive into that. But yeah, I'm just shocked that this trailer came out. I feel like it's too early. It comes out in May 2025, so a few months after Captain America, and then a couple months after that we're getting Fantastic Four, presumably on July 11th, the same day as Superman, which coincidentally is also my birthday. So I'm gonna do a double feature for my birthday next summer if they move Fantastic Four to July 11th, because I was already gonna go see Superman anyway. But anyways, let me know what you thought of the trailer. Are you excited to see Thunderbolts Asterix? Again, it's pretty far away, May 2025. Again, I don't know why they decided to release this trailer so early. I think the main thing I'm excited for is just we're getting all of these films that are more grounded. I mean, obviously Deadpool and Wolverine was more multiversal, but that was still grounded in a way, more boots on the ground. But we're also getting this film and Captain America sort of back to back, and I'm really pumped for that because that's what I really love about the Marvel Universe. Anyways, guys, my name is Jorvik. I'll see you in the next one.